Okay, so I'm excited to randomly try this recipe. It was shared by a mutual on Twitter, and it was shared a couple days ago, within the past 2 weeks, I can't remember. Enough time that I got the ingredients, added them to my shopping list, and picked them up today. But forgot where the recipe was, where I got the recipe. Luckily, I was able to go back through her tweets, and I found it. So that's good. I did have the basic knowledge of it. It's a super, super simple recipe, so I would have been able to, I think, remember it without it anyway. But I'm glad that I found it just to confirm that I am doing it right. Plus, this way I'm also able to share the original recipe with all of you down below as well. So that is really, really good. So it's a win-win all around. So this recipe says it just uses 3 ingredients, which is not fully true because one of the ingredients is box chocolate cake mix. And of course, you actually have to prepare the batter for that. So you do need the ingredients to prepare the batter, according to the box. In my case, and in most common cases, it's water or milk, vegetable oil, and eggs. So in my case, I chose to use water because going grocery shopping every 2 weeks, I didn't want to use up my milk for baking because I love milk. I love dairy, in case that hasn't come across well enough yet. So I didn't want to, so I used the water plus the fat and the texture and the creaminess that the milk would give to this batter will come across with one of the other ingredients anyway. So I'm not too concerned about using water instead of milk in this case, because what I lose from doing that, I gain with one of the other ingredients. So here we go. So super, super simple. Cooked in a crock pot. I have not used my crock pot in so long. Typically I use it to make stews and things like that in the winter. So that's probably why I haven't used it in at least a year. It's probably been over a year because last winter I was not in a crock pot cooking mood. We'll just, yeah, it was not, I was not in a place personally where I felt like using my crock pot or cooking in general for myself. So it's probably been about, honestly, 2 years, year and a half, 2 years since I last used this. So I'm excited. That was the other reason why I wanted to try this recipe, was because it got me a chance to use the crock pot. And in a different way, I've never ever used it for desserts before. So I'm excited to try that. So I've already, as you saw earlier, I don't want to spill that too much, but I've already prepared the cake batter. So, and I've already also sprayed down the inside of the crock-pot container so it won't stick. So I'm just going to pour this batter into my crock-pot. So you can kind of see I've already poured most of it in. There's no sense in having it off to the side when most of the action, so to speak, is going to be happening into it. There you go. Make sure you get as much of that batter as you can. Spatula, wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, so the next step is to, once that's all done, can of frosting and just start scooping it into the cake batter. This could be interesting. I got whipped icing, and I don't know if that'll be a good thing, a bad thing, or an irrelevant thing. So we'll see. So just like, you don't want to stir it in, literally just scoop and plop. The whole, apparently the whole tub. I don't know. That seems like a lot. We'll see if I use the whole tub, because mine's not, I've got a smaller crock pot because it was just for me. So it didn't spread out as much, so I might not use all of the frosting. We'll see. Yeah, definitely not using all of the frosting. Most of it, I will say most of it, but not all of it. So use your judgment there. That's definitely completely up to you. I can't see where less or more will have any effect whatsoever on the ability for the cake to cook. But it looks like it's supposed to be like a mock lava cake, so it might just, there won't be as much oozing out if you use less frosting. So that would be my assumption based on everything, all the things involved with this recipe. Never having made it myself before though, I'm not I can't guarantee 100% that that's what it is, but that's what I suspect would be if you use less frosting. So in that case, 100% up to you how much you want to use. Okay, and now the final ingredient is chocolate chips. So we're just sprinkling the chocolate chips over top of the batter and frosting. So yes, super chocolate. This is the other reason why I want to save my milk, because I'm going to want to drink a large glass of milk with this, eating it, because this is a lot of chocolate. But you can kind of see what I mean with the frosting and the chocolate chips, that I'm not too concerned about using water instead of milk with the cake batter. So yeah, now we're going to sprinkle the chocolate chips over top. And again, just like the frosting, this is, I'm assuming, just kind of, I think it's at a cup in the recipe, I believe. But that's just to give you a measurement, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's due to taste. Like, honestly, you probably don't even need to include the chocolate chips, and it'll still be good, but the chocolates give it that third texture and flavor of chocolate, different than the frosting and the cake itself. So I wouldn't recommend not doing it, because why would you go to all this trouble to not put the chocolate chips on? Also, I suspect this is one you can also play around with. If you have white chocolate chips, caramel chips, I'm trying to think of some other chocolate chips that are available, mint chips. Definitely, this is one ingredient that you can play around with in this case, because nothing will change but the flavor. So, yeah, just play around with it. And obviously the color, if you use different color chips, will also change, but you'll still be able to get the intended dessert. So this is one of those nice areas where you can play around a bit with. I just decided to go, surprisingly, uncharacteristically of me, I decided to go with what the recipe said and just go with the straight milk chocolate chips. But yeah, definitely use whatever you have on hand, use whatever flavor you might like, just to add a little bit of difference to this pure chocolate dish that we're making here. So yeah. So then we just put the lid on there. And according to the recipe, we cook it on high for 2 to 2.5 hours. So, yeah, I might pop in periodically to show you how it's going. So, otherwise, we'll see you in 2.5 hours. So I just wanted to get a glimpse of the video, what we're starting off with, just so you're kind of aware of what I was talking about. Kind of have a visual of how it's going to start. Got a little batter on the side, oops. It's okay. There we go. So now to leave it alone and keep checking on it. Only a half hour in and we're already looking good. Look at those bubbles. I'm gonna have to watch it closely because if we're at this pace, half hour in, it might not take 2.5 hours. Or at least it'll take on the lower, closer to 2 versus the 2.5.
but we'll see. Maybe I'll do like an update every half hour. Maybe not, because that would probably get boring. But yeah, just you can see the difference here. So that's just my dishwasher in the background. All the nice bubbling, all the chocolate chips have melted. You don't see those three distinct things anymore. So should be good. I'm excited. Woo! 2 hours, a half hour down, hour and a half to 2 hours to go. Okay, I know I was somewhat joking that I would be doing this every half hour, but here we are, an hour into it, and I had to for this though. I mean, look at those bubbles. I don't know if that's because I used whipped frosting, so they had all those air bubbles in it anyway, or if that's normal, no matter if you use whipped frosting or not, because I mean, you do have to whisk the eggs into the cake batter, but that seems like a lot of air. Let me know if you make this, if you don't use whipped frosting, if you kind of get that same result an hour into cooking that I do there. Because yeah, look at all those bubbles. So many bubbles. It's only been 15 minutes since my last video, but I had to because I don't know about all of you, but this is so relaxing to me. There's just something so relaxing about dishwasher going and just watching the bubbles. Watching it. It's so relaxing. Oh. Hope it doesn't bubble up too much more though. I don't have much more room. I think I'll be fine. I don't think it'll bubble up much more. But I will say, I'm not a fan of this method. We'll see how it tastes. I'm sure it'll taste fine, but I prefer the oven. A, because I don't think would take this long, and B, you can smell it so much better from the oven. This I need to actually like get up there and to smell it, but I will say this is a lot more relaxing than sitting in front of an oven. So, you know, pros and cons. Okay, it's been 2 hours. I'm a little concerned. I smell a little bit of burning. That was fast because I think checked it, didn't I? Oh no, I should have checked it at 4. I waited 45 minutes since I last checked it. That was clearly a mistake. But I'm gonna turn it off, and it's only a little bit of burning, so I think we're okay. I'm gonna turn it off, and I have no idea how the heck we're supposed to take this out of here. But yeah, let's do this. Yeah, definitely a little burning. So I was definitely right on my assessment earlier about it not taking 2 hours. It's okay. I think I can work with it. I think just kind of you can actually see that burning. So maybe I can like cut it off or something. I don't know. We'll see, because that does actually, without the lid, that's pretty bad. So I should have taken my own advice and kept checking it. I was doing so well. It was that 45-minute window there that I left it without checking that I screwed up. So yeah, we'll see how they recommend I'm supposed to eat this. Probably let it cool a little bit though. So
Okay, so I'm going to try it now. It's cooled down completely. I don't think I'm gonna flip it out because it looks like the pudding or like the frosting kind of settled on top, so if I flipped it over, it would all spill out. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to scoop into it. But it has cooled down quite a bit because it's been quite a few hours since it was done. So we'll see. I got my glass of milk going here. And scoop, plate. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, that is... You know what this reminds me of? That scene from Matilda, which there is a YouTube video, Binging with Babish. He actually makes the cake from Matilda, but which this is not in any way, shape, or form, but it kind of has that look a little bit to it. So yeah, I don't know, that's just what it reminds me of. This is definitely not a lava cake. That was misleading for sure. Wow, I scooped way too much. See, I went a little overboard. A little overboard. There we go. So let's give this a whirl. Super, super, super soft, super moist. Like that was not an issue. Okay, that's good. It's definitely, you know, I did scrape off the top bits, the bits that looked and smelt a little burnt. So I think that helped, because definitely the rest of this is actually really, really good. So chocolatey, so moist. You need to, definitely, the frosting kind of seemed to have centered in the middle. More so, yeah. So you kind of, to get it even, give it a nice mix around. But yeah. Really, really super rich, really chocolatey. Pretty much what you would expect from all that chocolate that we put in there. Yeah. Not bad. It'd be interesting to try with maybe different types of cake mixes, different types of icing, different types of chippets. That would be kind of neat to try with different flavor wise. But yeah. I was concerned. I think you heard me in my voice, the concern from the burnt. But definitely not a concern anymore. Definitely it did not wreck it at all. It's not burnt. It's really good. I wonder how much of this ranting I'm gonna cut out. But yeah. There you go. Crock pot cake pudding thing, because it's not a lava cake, a chocolate cake pudding thing. There we go. Enjoy.